Hello, everybody. Here's another edition of the Logical Workplace. So, for today's video, I want to expound on a certain type of workplace or a red flag to look for in a workplace. Now, obviously, you are familiar with workplaces that have a large amount of turnover. And obviously, that is a red flag. But I've seen the opposite. Now, until you experience this or hear my experience with this next type of workplace, you might not realize how negative and depressing and tormentive a place like this really is. Um, but any workplace that is afraid or rarely ever fires people, that is a humongous red flag. And you might say, oh man, come on, what could be bad about working somewhere that probably won't ever fire you or fire any of your coworkers? Places that don't really believe in firing anybody, or places that rarely ever fire anybody, I see there's a correlation sometimes between those places and places that um, don't pay well. So especially when you are a supervisor who is held accountable, or an administrator who is held accountable for the actions of other people, when you work for a place that doesn't really back you, a place that will not reprimand people for breaking the rules, and you are also held accountable for the actions of those people, that is an absolute um, lose lose situation, a situation that I have been in myself, and my solution was quitting and getting another position, going somewhere else. But a place that won't fire people. Now I'm not saying that that's going to always be a red flag, but part of it is, here's the drawback. Even if you are a just a technical worker who doesn't have to supervise people, what's going to happen? A place like that is going to have a lot of lackluster, bottom of the barrel, garbage employees that you are going to have to work with. And what's going to happen? Those rule bending, rule breaking, slacking um, type of employees, they're going to be in your group. They are not going to carry their weight. They are going to cause trouble. They're going to cause mishap. You are the person. The weight and load of their workload is going to be shifted to you. They are just going to show up to work, and all of the hard work is going to be pushed on you. And you start looking around and you see, hey, this person isn't doing his job. That person isn't doing their job. I am doing their job for them, and they get to continue to keep their job. Now that I'm complaining about it, I'm the problem. I've been in that situation before, my brothers and sisters. So a job that doesn't stand firm by their word, that's a place you don't want to be a part of. Whenever a company does not stand firm by their word, if they say, hey, if you continuously show up late to work, you will get fired. But then you see certain people coming in an hour, 2 hours late, or whatever, and nothing happens to them. But if you do it, they bring the hammer down on you. That's not right. And I can remember working for a state agency, and the chief over that particular agency was a piece of work. This guy was, I mean, he was one of the toughest guys I ever really had to work with. And luckily, I only had to work with him once a week. But, however, man, this guy, he felt like he wasn't doing his job unless he was yelling at somebody, unless he was going off on somebody, having him some type of hell fit temper tantrum on you. So he was the weirdest guy because there was really nothing you could do that would make him happy. Doing your job well didn't make him happy. Putting forth superb levels of work ethic didn't make him happy. Not happy enough to not disrespect you day in and day out. And I mean, it's pretty much went on with everybody. There were 2 or 3 people that had some people in high places that were backing them, and he left them alone. But other than that, the normal everyday Joe Blow, you got how can I put it? You had to roll with the punches in order to you had to roll with the punches every day. But long story short, this man was almost a devil reincarnated almost. I mean, he may not have been that bad, but the guy was tough to deal with, to say it nicely. Anyway, I had a coworker who had worked there for that agency for maybe 5 or 6 years, maybe even longer than that. He was an okay guy to work with, but towards the end of his tenure, he started spiraling downhill because of some health issues and some of his own personal dilemmas as well, and that those issues began to deter his work performance. And this guy just spiraled out of control, and he stopped coming to work consistently. The guy, if we had to come to work 25 days in a month, he would do good to show up 12. I mean, this guy was always calling out sick. He rarely came to work after a while. I mean, this guy became a huge issue, and it got worse and worse. And the days that he did come to work, he would destroy everything. I mean, like, the guy was just, I never seen somebody that was capable mentally of doing exceptionally well in terms of technical tasks. But this guy always just tore up equipment left and right. So the days he came to work, he tore up things. The days that he wasn't at work, the days he wasn't at work, he wasn't at work. So he rarely did come to work. And he just was, he became a terrible employee after a while. To my surprise, this behavior went on for about 2 years. And the chief, the guy that I was mentioning, the administrator that I had to answer to, he put up with that type of brutality for a year. And here's a guy that I compared to the devil reincarnated. Here's a guy that was the most rude and disrespectful administrator that I've ever seen in my life. I mean, he just got a kick out of hurting people's feelings and being disrespectful and rude and being what some people call a jerk. But anyway, long story short, it took them 2 years to fire that guy. And eventually they went ahead and fired him. He was on a 90-day probation, and he showed up to work 30 days on a 90-day probation. He was on a performance improvement plan and a probation related to tearing stuff up. But long story short, man, that same guy, that administrator, when they fired him, the administrator walked past me, because I was only there for like a year and some change, and I quit, went on and got another job. But that administrator said, "You see that we will work with you. You see that we will work with you." And that stuck with me, but it stuck with me in a negative manner because, okay, yeah, you would work with somebody, but at the same time, it's like, okay, you will work with people, but it's not because you care. You work with people because you know you can't find somebody who's willing to work that garbage job for that little bit of pay. You know that if you fired people left and right, you're not going to be able to replace those people. You have a hard time at retaining employees. You have a hard time at attracting employees. Therefore, you don't want to fire people. So, I mean, I could go on and on about this, but essentially, working for a place that refuses to reprimand people, working for a place that allows people to break the rules and allows for all type of negativity, that is not the kind of place you want to work for. Yeah, um, obviously there is, I guess, a little bit of peace maybe in the fact that, hey, no matter what, I won't get fired here, no matter what. And yeah, I mean, I guess that's a little bit of peace. But when you are a person who is trying to do a great job, you're trying to be everything that your job description calls you to be, but yet and still, um, you are met with favoritism. Your favoritism in the sense of, hey, these people are breaking the rules. Nothing happens to them. If I did that, I would be reprimanded or whatever. So having a job that, when you look at, hey, I'm here, these garbage employees, these people that leave work whenever, people that show up late, people that cause chaos, people that cause controversy, people that lie and just do all sorts of evil are here. People that slack, people that are lazy, they're making our job harder, and nothing happens to them. Immediately start looking for another job. Life is too short to be going to a job that you hate every day.